Dog started her life with a dream. A kicking pup, eyes unopened to the failing, gross world. The dream played, a disease carried from the purple, bloated sky and set into the blood, an emptying of the streets, so at twilight and dawn, unholy sound came down, settling into the cities like fog. A braying of the beast, sound carried down from the high places, shaking down to dust the fragile, withering frames of all beings, the roar that shakes the ground, reverberating, toppling the dusty towers of the construct of the self. The lamb, bleeding and scared, cornered, fangs stuck deep into the neck, and only the pup could crawl away, legs unusable, innocence laid out in front of the beast, and the dreaming pup, barely a week old, crawled, hid in a place unseen from the terror, and the beast relented, fading back into the darkness. After the dream, a good one took the tiny pup in their palms, clutched the newborn dog to the chest, and said, "Can you see it moving across the horizon? It is the new god, unkind and sick, lashing out at these cities and piling the dead on the sidewalks. You will be safe for a time." And the dog lived and grew, bringing kindness into an unkind place. Later, the world caught sick. And after the fall, the town was on fire, caught up in a flash of burning. The smoke was breathless and singed the inside of his throat. Finally, having crawled up the side of the hill, the charred man reached the crest, and tired, with no drink, slumped against the blackened trunk of a tree. He looked out at the orange flames licking the horizon, bloated clouds of smoke billowing plumes. Two men came from out a small, ashed forest on top of the hill, weeping, clinging together, and he, the dying, heard them say how glad they were to have survived. Breathing labored, he glanced at his chest, bubbled, and his skin melted like wax. The men saw him, and thinking he was diseased or cursed to have been burned, kicked him hard, his skin torn like paper, and forced him down the hill with the heel of their boots. The fools showed him no kindness other than death. He died on his way down the hill, and he was relieved. The two poets, or otherwise slobbering fools, laid down on the singed hill where the flames could not reach and put themselves down, sleeping as the heat remained below. They knew that they were trapped, as both sides of the hill were on fire, and they had no water, and they wept as if they had not just killed another. They wept and slept and held themselves together, while slowly the terror claimed them both. When the dog made her way into town, after the flames had been stopped by rain, she knew there would be no food, and she thought it foolish to even stop and look. But she saw the hill, and faintly scented two bodies untouched by flame. She ascended the burned slope, and found the man who had been kicked. She paused, sniffed the man, and found that he hadn't been innocent, and he had been rooted firm in his own construct, but he was not some diseased thing or some agent of harm. The dog thought the man who was kicked would have made a fine master. She continued up the hill, and found the two withered bodies of the fools. The stench of their sin was clear, now, petulant and gross. Who were they now? Corpses, like the rest of the town. She could smell the terror. It had made a quick feast of them, and they had lashed out against each other, kicking, screaming, gnashing, until they were consumed. The kicked man had fought for a brief flash, and was consumed, as the dog also soon would be.